Boom, bam, bam, bop. Bada bop, boom, pow.
Okay, what's up guys? Mr. Bella here. Decided to make this video outside because being cooped up inside isn't so great. So anyway, I'm going to talk about complementary and supplementary angles here, and I'll pull that up for you. First of all, I do know that some of this is a review, but I think it's good to actually know that because complementary and supplementary go hand in hand, and they're usually confused with each other. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of tips on how to know the difference between them. I'm going to start off with the standards. You can read through them, but basically we're going to use facts about supplementary, complementary, vertical, and adjacent angles in a multi-step problem to write and solve simple equations for an unknown angle in a figure. What does all that mean? You'll see there are a lot of uses for it in the practical world, but for what we're doing, I'll just show you like one or two examples. Alright, so we're going to identify complementary and supplementary pairs of angles and use angle relationships to find those missing measures. Alright, so first of all, before we even go through anything, vocabulary here, measure of angle 1. So that's naming the angle, saying like, oh hey, this is angle 1. Putting the M there means that's the measure of angle 1. So it's not talking about the actual physical angle, it's talking about, oh, that's 30 degrees or 45 degrees. The first part that we're going to do is to find missing angles using rules of complementary and supplementary angles. So first of all, complementary angles. Complementary means that they are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So two angles that add up to a right angle. So in this case, you can see one side over here, that is 90 degrees. So you learned from before that a straight angle is 180 degrees. So this right here is a straight angle, and this is 90 degrees. That means these two angles over here are also going to be 90 degrees because it has to add up to 180 degrees. Alright, so A and B, so right here the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B has to equal 90 degrees. We don't know what A and B are equal, but we do know that because this right here is 90 degrees, this over here together has to also be equal to 90 degrees. And here it says complementary angles may not be adjacent. So they don't have to be next to each other. They don't have to share a side. They could be one angle here, another angle there. As long as you add them up and equal 90 degrees, it's complementary. Complementary angles equal 90 degrees. So these aren't adjacent, but as long as you add these two angles up and they equal 90 degrees, 60 plus 30 actually does equal 90 degrees, then they're complementary. That's how you know if it's complementary, supplementary, or neither. So right here, this is X, this is 35, and right over here it says it's 90 degrees. So if that's the case, then you should know that this is also 90 degrees. Because a straight line makes 180 degrees. If one side of that is 90, the other side has to also be 90. If I'm trying to find the missing angle, I know that the measure of angle X plus 35 degrees equals 90 degrees. And I don't have to write all that out. That's just like kind of the nice way to show it. You can just say X plus 35 equals 90. Okay, and then now this is just a one-step equation. You subtract 35 from both sides, and X will equal 55 degrees. I might as well do this next one. We're going to assume this is a rectangle, and this is kind of a bad drawing because I should have put maybe like just one right angle over there or something, or a right angle over here. But we're going to assume this is a rectangle, meaning that these two are together at 90 degrees. So I'm going to say y plus 22 equals 90. And then again, it's just a one-step equation. You subtract 22 from both sides, and you get y is equal to 68. Right here you have find the value of x. Since the two adjacent angles form a right angle, they are complementary, which means that those two things equal 90. So same idea. You have this 2x angle. If you add it to 28, that's going to equal 90 degrees. And then this is just a two-step equation. You solve for x. You subtract 28 from both sides. Okay, so you have 2x equals 62. Then you have to isolate the x. This is 2 times x, so you divide both sides by 2. And x is going to equal 31. Alright, moving on to supplementary angles. Supplementary means angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So same as complementary, the measure of angle k plus the measure of angle t is equal to 180 degrees. And same as complementary angles, supplementary angles don't have to be adjacent. They could be right next to each other, sharing a line, or they could be apart. Okay, how would you remember this? So, it's kind of hard to remember because complementary, supplementary, they're both like you add two things and either equals 90 or it equals 180. So maybe you can make a drawing like maybe I can just do this. So one of the ways to remember complementary versus complementary is like if you're giving someone a compliment, sometimes you do the little finger guns and go, hey, that's a nice sweater or something. So like these guys, right? So right here, these guys, hey, that's a nice sweater you got there or whatever. This guy kind of, his fingers look like they are at a 90-degree angle. Supplementary angles, when you say sup, maybe you put your hands out wide open like that and say, hey, what's up? Like maybe I'll draw it. So like this.
Check me out. Check me out. Boom, bam, bam, bop. Bada bop, boom, pow.
Okay, so hopefully that helped. I also will link a video to some other different ways that you can remember the difference between complementary and supplementary, but hopefully my way makes sense. Here you have a straight line. So this whole thing together equals 180 degrees. You should know that. So this is x plus 55 equals 180. So if you solve this, you would subtract 55 from both sides, and then x would equal 125 degrees. Same thing over here. Even if you have two intersecting lines, we already kind of did vertical angles, but here you could just ignore this entire part and just concentrate on these two angles here, and you will know that y plus 147, those make up a straight line, so it should equal 180. So same thing, you subtract 147 from both sides, and y should equal 33. Okay, so let's say you have two angles here. One is 3 times some number x, and the other angle is 123 degrees. So you have 123 plus 3x, and the fact here, it says they are supplementary. That means you know it equals 180. If they are not making a straight line together, if they're non-adjacent, it has to say that they're supplementary. You can't just assume that both of them equal 180. This is a two-step equation, so you subtract 123 from both sides. So you have 3x equals 57. And then you divide both sides by 3. And then x will give you 19. So x equals 19 in this case. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful, and I will see you guys next time.